Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through the steps that I take to refurb a Game Boy Color. So let's go do that.
Okay, so I like to start my refurbs by checking to see what's wrong with the Game Boys. In this case, it's an intermittent fault, which tells me that there is probably something wrong with the switch, or it needs to be just cleaned. To start the disassembly, you need to remove the 6 tri-wing screws that are holding the device together from the back. After you lift off the back, you should see 3 Phillips screws that are holding the motherboard to the shell. After these screws are removed, we can then remove the ribbon cable that is holding the screen to the motherboard. Once the ribbon cable is detached from the motherboard, you should be able to take the motherboard right out of the shell. After this, I like to take all the button pads and buttons out, along with the switch and the infrared cover that is located on top, so that I am just left with the screen and the front part of the shell. To remove the screen from the front housing, gently twist the sides until you see the screen pop, then use something to pry the screen out gently. So here are all the parts that you should be left with once you've taken your Game Boy completely apart. At this point, I like to clean the buttons and the shell of the Game Boy so that while it is drying, I can then work on the motherboard itself. I find the best way to clean it is just hot soapy water and a good scrubbing brush. So as the parts are drying, I then turn my attention to the motherboard. I use a Q-tip dipped in isopropyl alcohol to start the clean all over the board by just removing any bits of dirt that I can see. I then dip a toothbrush in the isopropyl alcohol and go over the board thoroughly. I find this is the best way to clean it. To clean the switch so that it stops that intermittent fault, I put a bit of isopropyl alcohol directly in the switch and then move the switch back and forth to clean the contacts underneath. I use the same process to clean the volume wheel as well. Another thing I like to do when refurbishing a Game Boy Color is to resolder the contacts for the power switch and the speaker. I do this just to make sure that they have a very strong contact and that there's not going to be any problems with those solder joints later on. Once I have finished all my soldering, I then like to go back over the motherboard with isopropyl alcohol and a brush just to give it one last clean before I start doing the final clean on the shell. So once the other parts of the Game Boy are completely dry, I like to install the screen first so that it doesn't get damaged. What I do is I use a special cleaning cloth for screens and I clean the screen and the inside of the screen lens. Once they are both clean, I then like to go over with an air blower and make sure that there's no dust or any little particles in between the screen and the screen lens, so that way you get the clearest image possible when looking at the Game Boy. So once the screen has been installed back into the Game Boy, it is time to put the whole thing back together. It's very simple, all it is the exact reverse of what we did to take it apart.
Alright guys, so that is how I refurbish a Game Boy Color. I'm very happy to say that this one is no longer having an intermittent fault where it doesn't turn on, so it turns on every time without fail now, which is what we wanted, so that's the result. We got it. I hope you guys learned something from watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in future videos. Thanks for watching.